Multi-vector integration is Kazakhstan's chosen course of development, and the program, Single Market. Searching for a source of rationality. This message is very critical when talking about the economy. This approach is a guide to action when it's difficult to predict and plan for tomorrow and the reality of today. Hello, my name is Pavel Koktashev and you're watching Single Market. Coming up, Dialog. When do interests match together? Why does the EBRD support the projects in Kazakhstan? Prospects. Centers ensuring an optimal flow of goods. Report from Astana. Navigator right now. In September last year, the Eurasian Economic Union countries have agreed to implement the special microchips to label fur products. But this initiative has faced some problems. It turned out that by April 01, this agreement had been ratified by some member countries only, and they've realized that the project was not ready in terms of hardware and software. Let me remind you, they were planning to label the fur products in order to avoid infringing goods. Project originators were explaining and appealing feasibility of this project, saying that a portion of shadow import of these goods in the EAEC market varies from 70 to 85%. In terms of money, it is more than $10 billion. China is the main fur product supplier for EAEC countries. By the way, the Chinese manufacturers are afraid to lose the big fur market, so they're ready to buy their microchips and scanners. Turkey and Italy share the second and third places in the EAEC market. Greece is a very small proportion in the fur market. From the technical viewpoint, the chip mounting idea must be implemented through the so-called RFID tag. This tag will be sewn in each cloth and comprise the full goods information as follows: country of origin, manufacturer, type of fur, year and season of the fur's issue, and the fur's quality information. We can just bring the scanning device to the microchip and get the details of the fur. But this very point may cause some problems. The fact is that the special and very expensive equipment is needed to read and scan the data from the RFID tag, and it will be the owners of fur saloons to incur the expenses to acquire this very device. For example, Kazakhstan is concerned about the lack of such experience. Moreover, we do not produce such labels. That's why labeling implementation and use could be delayed. Meanwhile, Russia has launched a pilot project. Rosnano company dealt with the RFID tag development. Cost of one label varies from 15 to 22 rubles. According to the preliminary calculation, the entire experiment will cost Russia 474 million rubles. Considering the fact that 32 to 50 minks will be needed for one fur coat, chip mounting expenses of the manufacturers will vary from $12 and $18 for one coat. In summary, we can say, despite the challenges we have in this project, it's relevant to admit and confess electronic labeling is the right stuff we need. It is not only protection of the consumer's rights from counterfeit goods at stake, but also a fiscal issue. Furs are one of the most expensive and popular products within the EAEC territory. Therefore, control of this market will ensure millions of dollars of tax revenues for the Eurasian Union countries. I am Alexander Galiev. See you in the next Single Market. Well-developed infrastructure and stable environment are the basis and topside of the modern economy. In the Kazakhstani reality, it is another chance for gradual transition from the raw material orientation to stable growth. This reset helps to harmonize the various areas of social life. But this trend needs a lot of effort, time, and material cost. And the question is, why is Kazakhstan supported in this long-term purpose by some international institutions such as the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development? Our correspondent Nina Kumambetova learned it in interviewing Mr. Matija Romani, EBRD Regional and Sectoral Economy Managing Director.
The motto of your bank tells that your investments change people's life. Does this slogan meet today's reality when the economics of developing countries, including Kazakhstan, is in a hard situation?
The EBRD is a bank, but ultimately it's an international financial institution. It has the luxury of being able to invest when others move away. So even in a context, particularly in the banking sector, when many banks have moved out of Kazakhstan, the EBRD's presence, if anything, has become stronger. Why is the EBRD in Kazakhstan? Why do we believe that this is the right moment for us to invest in this country? Well, fundamentally because we really see eye to eye with government on the key priorities for deep economic reforms in the country. We work closely with our governor, the Minister of Finance, but we really work closely with a number of different ministries on ensuring that the pace of reforms in the economy doesn't slow down. We believe that thanks to these reforms, Kazakhstan will be able to grow more sustainably, in a more inclusive manner as well.
Let's consider two priorities of Kazakhstan. The first one is green economics, and the second one is development on infrastructure. As I know, your bank is contributing in both directions.
In Kazakhstan is one of the largest portfolios of any countries of the EBRD. Kazakhstan now, if I remember correctly, is the second or third largest country of operation for the EBRD. That 40% of our investments over the next 3 years will be dedicated to green infrastructure. We call it the green economic transition. So $4 out of 10 or €4 out of 10 of every one of our investments will be dedicated to that. In Kazakhstan, we have found fertile ground really for this, because Kazakhstan has already understood that the growth of the future is green growth, that growth based on fossil fuels is a dead end. It doesn't take you anywhere. And in order to lay the foundations for an economic system which can continue to deliver growth for future generations, you need to lay foundations for the green economy. And we've been helping Kazakhstan on their vision. We've got a number of things that we are doing. I think some of the most significant ones are investment in some of the municipalities in Kazakhstan, where our focus is on energy efficiency and wastewater management. This may seem like small things, but actually they matter enormously for Kazakhstan and for people, and they can really lay the foundations for a completely different use of natural resources. So that's an example. Another thing that we're doing is we're working very closely on the further gasification of the country, which means creating networks to bring gas from the western areas of the countries to the south. What will this gas be used for? Well, to switch off some coal-fired power plants, which means less emissions and crucially less local pollution. It will mean that more industrial processes will be able to use gas instead of using heavy oil or using coal. Again, reduction in emission, reduction in local pollution, but also it will create opportunities for new businesses to thrive. The availability of a constant supply of gas is one of the crucial conditions for businesses to establish themselves. So I think that this is a good example of how environmental sustainability on one side and strong growth and entrepreneurship really go together. So we're quite excited about this program.
Okay, and let's move to the second one. I mean, projects in the way of revival of Silk Road.
China's vision is to create the condition to re-establish this region of the world at the core of global trade. But it's really beyond bringing silk, which is what used to come across this bit of the world. And this is really about moving goods, of course, out of China and into China from Western Europe, so that it's much easier to exchange not only goods and services, but also ideas and innovation. And this is really quite exciting, I think, and quite exciting for Kazakhstan, perfectly in line with the strategy for growth of this country. So practically, now that we've described this exciting agenda, practically what does it mean? Well, it means creating some hard infrastructure, roads, railways, crucially, dry ports and logistical centers across this bit of the world to create a smooth, a seamless, if you want, connection through this continent between China and Europe, but it's also a question of building soft infrastructure. What do I mean by soft infrastructure? This is really about rules and regulations that are conducive to exchanging goods and services and ideas. This means creating customs service that talk to each other.
Okay, thank you very much for such an interesting interview.
According to the European analyst, at average, each % of the operating cost reduction in the goods flow causes a growth of welfare, which is equivalent to 0.13% of GDP. But what if we can reduce these costs by 5%? Can you just imagine what result we could achieve? That's why a developed network of trade and logistics centers is not a luxury, it is a means for efficient commodity flows. Our correspondent Chingiz Maitsitov in Astana will explain how the modern trade and logistics center works. The one-stop principle. Currently, it is the best option for commercial cargo flow. It is when the client is fully served in one place. And this is a principle how the Transport and Logistics Center works. Last autumn, such a center opened in Astana. Today, it is the largest site in the field-oriented family. It was founded under the Kazakhstani National Project for Construction and Management of the Transport and Logistics Center Network. Public-private partnership-based Continental Logistics Company carries out this project. In engineering the Transport and Logistics Center, we were studying and reviewing the global experience. We were consulted by the best experts. Easy to say, the global experts have developed the concept and specified the standards to follow in our business. For today, this is the only existing A-class Transport and Logistics Center which complies with the international standards. Such high status implies the compliance with the certain requirements, starting from the multimodal cargo transportation and ending with their security conditions. In this connection, the entire range of services is available in the center premises. On shipping the cargo, the client knows that here the cargo will pass the customs clearance, phytosanitary control, and quarantine inspection. After the customs clearance, we can transport it to the warehouse and store it for a long time. We can pack, unpack, and repack it and deliver it to the clients. The center's area is 49 hectares. Here we have a container site, 2 warehouse complexes, distribution and customs clearance centers. We have 2 customs control zones. Cargo will be inspected in the presence of the client, representatives of the brokers, phytosanitary specialists, and then moved to a general warehouse where the client may pick or leave it for storage. In case of working with the products that do not need a controlled environment, these products are sent to the dry warehouse where the temperature is 16 to 18 degrees Celsius. If it is foodstuff, it is placed in the temperature-regulated warehouse. 22 compartments with different storage modes are available in such temperature-regulated warehouses, 0 to 6 degrees Celsius in the refrigerator compartments, and up to minus 18 degrees Celsius in the freezing compartments. Meat products are stored in this compartment as it requires low-temperature storage conditions, so a constant temperature level of minus 18 degrees Celsius is maintained here. Depending on the storage period, specific controlled environment is provided for fruits and vegetables. This makes it possible to manage the flow of goods when needed. We have special onions and potato compartments. There we have an aggravant system. For example, in winter season, potatoes are stored in the natural cooling conditions. In such summer season, we turn on the compressor. We can store potatoes for a long time due to the cold conditions. Fruits and vegetables intended for long-term storage will be placed in the gas-regulated environment zone. This technology reduces the oxygen content and increases the carbon dioxide. In this case, the agricultural products remain fresh, which keeps the quality without using chemicals. On one hand, availability of our own hypermarket, which is close to the transport and logistics center, is an additional link in a closed cycle of goods flow. And it is a consumer demand attraction center on the other hand. Since we have optimized the logistics delivery, first of all, we are able to supply a wide range of products, and secondly, these products will be supplied with the most attractive prices for our customers. Currently, Astana Transport and Logistics Center has more than 300 clients, including foreign companies. These companies are served by 30 customs brokers who are ready to prepare all the required documentation. As noted by the experts, establishment of the international level of transport and logistics center in the Kazakh capital raises the regional cargo flow transit on a new level of track, mobile and multimodal ones. And this is just one of the basic conditions for the infrastructural development in our country. Chingiz Maitsitov, Askar Aitkenov, Astana, exclusively for single market. That's all for today. Let me remind you that you can find all our stories at www.kazakh-tv.kz. See you in the next Single Market.